Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Muse Evolution Podcast Show. I'm your host for the next hour. My name is John Lewis Rushing Jr. I am a photographer for Muse Evolution Photography, and I shoot fine art nude photography based out of Los Angeles, California. Today, I am bringing on a distinguished guest that has been working as a director, producer, writer, photographer, model. Not a used car salesperson, but we were able to say real estate, so we can say that as well. So as far as it goes, I'm bringing in a model that I worked with several years ago, Shelbe Chang, and I love the fact that she came on here and she's going to be very open to talk about a lot of things that are like the elephant in the room. So the reality is she's a trans model. And she's a banging trans model because she isn't just a model, she's a muse. She was a very accomplished muse when I worked with her, and we actually worked on a very good project together that I call Gender Bender, and I believe that particular, some of the shots from that shoot wound up going into Frock Magazine, a trans magazine as well. So with no more ado, please, everybody, welcome to the show, Shelbe Chang.
Hello, John. Thank you for inviting me for this podcast, and I'm honored to be here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I love that you came, and I'm ecstatic to get into some of these questions here.
Okay, sure.
So first off, please indulge us by telling us a little bit of your professional background in the industry of what we're talking about.
Okay. I start off to really get involved with modeling, acting around 2011, 12-ish as a trans person. I did shoot a lot of photographers' projects, including yours. Mm. And during those 2-3 years in the beginning, I'm just kind of learning, see how people are doing their project. And then around 2014, I decided to make my own movie because I always have this idea of making an anthology film. And the idea just keep flashing through my mind. And so I started preparing the project, pre-production, and even I involved with the writing, the script. Yeah. And since it's an anthology film, so I decided to use 3 other directors and script writers, producers. And so the movie is called LGBT Love Stories. And it has 4 segments, and we break it down to, LGBT. And so I wrote the T segment, which is transgender story. At that time, transgender story, transgender actress wasn't a thing at that time. This is way a couple of years before Caitlyn Jenner came out, right. Way before TRANS-PARENCY on Amazon came out. So this is very pre. So I was blessed and grateful I was able to have a team with the cast, with the crew. And my goal was to use at least as much crew, actors in the community, LGBT community as much as possible. So we end up having about 90 to 95% of crew and actors in the community. Yeah. So and again, I was just somebody new in doing this. So I'm very honored and grateful for those people who trusted in me to bring this project and to work together with me.
Right. And you got an award for that, right?
Yeah, I got it. We did a few festivals, and the one that we won is a best LGBT film of the month. And that festival is a little different. It's online streaming, which is around 2016. Right. And this is also before all the streaming, all the crazy Netflix, which is start doing the streaming.
Right.
So we and then we also had show in Canada and we show in Germany. There's few festivals, LGBTQ festivals. Yeah.
Excellent.
Mhm.
Excellent. Okay, so look, first off, kudos. It's like out the gate. I mean, making a film and making that come together, that's like pulling a thought out of the air and making it actual reality.
Right.
And that is just phenomenal. So one of the things that I wanted to ask you was, I want to go back, and I will, but I want to go back and I want to find out more about because you're from Taiwan.
Yes.
And I want to go back and talk about from the beginning, but I also want pre-trans, right?
Mhm.
And then but I do want to right now just say about like your education. What did you have? How did you have a background? Did you wind up going to school for this?
Yes. I study communication art in college, and that's including film, TV, and radio. At that time, I focused on TV and film because radio, it's all about speaking, talking like this.
Right.
And my English wasn't so good at the time, so I have a fear to doing any radio projects or involved with any radio class. So I did learn TV's filming, and we even shoot, like a homework for the school. And we use camcorder,
Right.
VA. It's in the mid-90s.
Right.
Yeah, so it's fun, and that's how I really developed the passion. And yeah, and then also because back then in the 90s, everything is analog,
Right.
so it's not digital at all. But if you have the talent, if you have an idea, it doesn't matter what kind of tools or where's the technology is.
Right. Right.
You just bring it out from the heart, from your creativities.
Right.
So yeah, so I started from there, and then I did some extra work behind, like as a background actress in my college year, just to compare from school setting to the real life,
Right.
real production, what they look like, and all that. Yeah, so
Awesome.
it's pretty interesting. Yeah.
Awesome.
Mhm.
So, and I'm still going to reach to the past,
Okay.
further back. But
Right.
one of the things was, what inspired you to actually start doing film? I mean, obviously there was something that like, was there a film that kicked it into gear for you that inspired you to want to be an actress? And then about the writing, was there something that just tugged at your heartstrings that made you want to create?
Growing up, I always have this dream to be in the entertainment industry. So I watch a lot of TV growing up, and maybe that's why my school wasn't so good. So I watch a lot of TV, a lot of drama. I got a lot of influence from, of course, Asian TV drama, Asia cinema. So Asian cinema, there's a lot of art kind of film. Of course, we have like the entertainment, like for entertaining purpose. But there's also a lot of film that's for art, for festival purpose.
Right.
So I watch all of them. Not many people will tend to watch the art part, but I did, and I really like the Ang Lee style. If you're familiar with Ang Lee, and then One Cafe. Their film is like very artistic, and you just sometimes you don't understand what they try to present.
Oh, okay,
like
right,
that.
got you. Yeah, right.
And yeah, so I'm a big fan of anthology film, like also like Pulp Fiction. You've seen it,
yes.
So it's like different story, but jammed into one film. So
Nice.
so it's kind of like that, or like I believe I remember it's called New Year. There's a bunch of famous actors in that movie, and then they break it down to segments.
In New Year, I haven't even seen that.
Yeah, you should check it out.
I'm gonna have to check it out.
Yeah.
Now, look, I did wind up getting a chance to see some of the footage for our LGBT.
TQ.
Q. Yeah, I'm just making sure that I'm not saying it LGBTQIA because it's LGBTQ, right?
Yeah.
LGBT. That was your film.
LGBT
love
Love
story.
Story is my
There
film
you go.
because again, 2014ish, the Q
Wasn't there.
exist yet.
It wasn't there. And the
Yeah.
I wasn't there. And the A wasn't there. Yeah.
So later on, they add Q plus.
Q
easier
plus. There you
for
go.
people. Yeah, otherwise
Include
we're
everybody.
gonna have entire alphabet. So,
Right.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I want to, like I said, I'm going to go back and I'm going to ask a little bit
Okay.
more about when you were growing up because you went through this transformation, this transition, but obviously now we know because we're talking to you and you said you were trans at the beginning. So
Right.
let's go back to when you were younger and how did you grow up? What was your lifestyle like? And feel free to say, did you know that you were trans?
Well, growing up, I from Taiwan, and at that time, my dad was immigrant here because of his family side. He's able to come here when I was 3. Okay, so I basically grew up with grandparents on my mom's side. So at that time, I spent a lot of time with my uncles, my aunts, my grandparents, and they're very traditional Asian persons. And so the way they teach me is also very tradition.
Right.
And so a lot of time at nighttime I sat with my grandma to watch Chinese opera. Okay, it's
Right.
like similar to Peking opera. It's like an actor or actress. They act in the opposite gender or sex.
Correct.
Yeah. So I thought that was very interesting, and I remember every time I would finish watching the show, I would pretend I'm them, on TV, try to act like them. So I remember I took my mom's scarf and then I put it on my head to make it like a long hair, like a wig, like this.
Right.
Yeah. So I didn't think of anything at that time, and just it's now looking back, I'm kind of grow up different and kind of doesn't like a boy kid,
Right.
playing outside, playing all those action hero figures, GI Joes, all those
Right.
things.
Right.
Yeah, so I don't play that. I just kind of very feminine, girly
Right.
kind of kid.
Right.
So,
Right.
but I didn't think about I'm going to become trans. Oh, I am a trans. Nothing
Right.
like that. So it just kind of just evolved later on, and so we came here like around when I was 12, which
Right.
it takes about almost 10 years for my dad to do all the paperwork and immigrant here.
Right.
Yeah, so I go to high school, junior high here, and then college. So at college years, I start feeling a little different,
Okay.
because at that time the internet just started coming out. And I'm sure you remember AOL, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
remember
So
AOL.
at that time, they already have little chat rooms, just like the Facebook group. It has a particular topic or subject. So I was curious. I signed up to certain type of groups and chat with people. And when I went on, because like I said, I feel different, so I went on those chat room. I chat as a girl. Yeah,
Right.
and then I took a selfie. Of course, that time selfie is not very clear, but selfie and without a head. Just the body. Yeah, like kind of dress girl clothes in the closet.
Right.
And I don't know how to do makeup. I don't have long hair like this right now.
Right.
So, so I just check. And then to fast forward, then, it evolved to like, maybe start meeting guys
Right.
outside. And then, so I kind of try to discover what's going on with me. At that time, the only term or label that I knew about is gay. So I thought I would just have some gay expression or gay feelings.
Correct.
But I still do date girls at that time. And I end up also married for 2 years when I was 28. So the marriage didn't work out. It's not nothing to do with this side of my expression, and of course my family and my wife at the time doesn't know.
Right.
And I just I try to hide that feeling and
Suppress it.
suppress it and try to maybe thinking, okay, I'm gonna go get married. I'm dating a girl and it will probably go away, which it did in the beginning,
Right.
but somehow it just coming back. So so I didn't. So the marriage lasted 2 years, and it's because I'm too young. I wasn't
Immature.
financial stable yet,
Yeah.
and we still live with my family, and that's just drama trouble. So,
Right. In-laws and all that get involved.
good
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah.
So after the marriage ended, and I continued dating girls, but the other side of me started coming stronger. So when I go, still chatting online, and now the Craigslist comes along.
Oh, okay.
They usually have a personal section.
Right.
They
Yes.
just spent it like a couple years ago, not too long ago. Anyway, so I meet up with some guys from there, and when I meet up, I did kind of dress up. Like I remember I took one of my sister's shirt or dress and or my mom's shoes or heels to wear it to go meet these guys, and I put on how do you call this, beamer, like the not hat, like
a beanie, like
beanie, beanie.
Got it.
Yeah, to because I have I already have long hair in the front like this, so I kind of beamer cover it, so I kind of like I don't know, just try to be as girly as
Right.
Yeah, so I did that for a few years, and my relationship with that girl, we have a mutual breakup. We just feel we're not for each other.
Right.
It doesn't work out, and we're still good friends until today.
Awesome.
And so at that same time, I met a guy on Craigslist, and he was a guy, and he said he has a roommate. She's like a transgender cross-dresser person.
Mm-hmm.
So they have this club in Long Beach. It's called Hamburger Mary's.
Yes.
And Hamburger Mary's every night has their own theme night. Every weekend it's different theme. So one of the weekend is called T-Girls Night, meaning trans girls night.
Yeah.
Okay. So they asked me if I want to go. I said, okay, fine. I never been, so I bought probably a dress the first time.
Right.
Yeah, and I had my wigs and did my awful makeup. Yeah, I had a picture, so you guys may show. It's very crazy.
Excellent.
Anyway.
I also want to interject just for a second.
Okay, sure.
In case you guys have never been onto the Muse Evolution Podcast Show and you just are tuning in and you're realizing that this is a interesting podcast, I want you to know at the end of the podcast, most of the times, whenever I have a guest on there, they bring on their whatever materials so that we could actually show it at the end. So maybe if they're like a musician or an actor or an actress, Shelby's given us some stuff that she's given us permission to air. And what is that?
Well, I have a before and after picture.
So you get to see the before and after, and I know you don't share that too often, right?
No, I only posted one time on Facebook. And there's a few reasons, because I really don't want to see myself from previous. Second, I don't really took picture when I was a guy because I don't have a confidence as a guy.
Right.
Yeah, I it's totally different than now because I'm happier and I feel how I feel inside and able to express outside is aligned right now.
Right.
But before I didn't know what's going on with that, just no confidence and everything just seemed, no hope kind of way.
I understand, but I just want you guys to know that there's going to be pictures at the end.
Yes.
And you're providing links to your LGBT
Yes, we have
love story.
We have a Facebook page right now, which was created a long time ago in 2014. And then recently we published our screenplay on Amazon, so you can find the actual book. You
Right.
can order it, or you can order Kindle. You can read it through your tablet. Yeah.
There you go. And I'm sorry for interrupting, but I just want to
okay.
make sure that people who are tuning in that it's like, come on, we got bonus stuff at the end. I hope that you take a look at it and support her by
Thank
looking
you.
at her work and following her work.
Yes.
So you were still talking about your relationship and the friends, still having that friendship was still going on. How has your being trans? How does that make you? How does that show up in your creativity? I obviously you wrote your story and stuff like this. Do you feel that this is part of your calling to actually, one, bring your talent and your dream to fruition, but also at the same time championing your cause of or championing LGBTQIA and
Good.
I got it, baby. I got all of it right. So do you feel like you're being like a pioneer in this quest to do this by documenting stuff?
Yeah, I did kind of feel that way at that time, and then the creation it's based on the story from people who's telling me in the community, guys or girls, and so that's why when they saw the trailer, which is gonna provide to you as well, some people saw the trailer, said, oh, I can relate. Oh, this happened to me before. Even guys, like there's a bisexual segment. It's about a married man, and it has this strange feeling,
Right.
and likes to, and of course it's hidden from wife, and wife doesn't know, and wife found out later, and blah blah blah. So that just that a lot of guys in our community that who came out from that,
Right,
can experience that, and they can relate. And so I feel that I'm doing I do arts and create arts, but at the same time I'm able to bring part of the community's story on screen to maybe people like in the mainstream, they don't know the struggles, the story behind it, because all they seeing is this. Or maybe you saw RuPaul,
right.
drag shows. Yeah, we have the gay segment is a drag show story, so
Right,
it's similar to RuPaul, but it's more like a behind the scene, because they do have the struggle, the trouble that everyone is facing. Yeah. So, and my transgender story is like the girl, got kicked out from family because they don't accept it, and she have to go on the street to be a working girl. That's really a true story. I'm sure a lot of people probably saw, already know that part. I'm kind of chill because I have a lot of friends are like that. One of my friend has to do that, and then she passed away. So she got murdered. So that's why.
And there's also a lot of hate that goes on.
And then a lot of people, see us as a vulnerable victim, like an easy target victim. Yeah. So they will try to meet up with some of those girls and then rob them, and then murder them.
Yeah.
And then at that time, 2014 or earlier, the the justice, the media doesn't pay attention on this kind of story.
Right.
So again, bring back to my film, I feel I have the duty or the calling
Right.
to show, we're just trying to get by. Some girls just try to get by, and we're just it's not a choice to do this,
Right.
And from my own experience, when I transitioned, I kind of had it. I won't say easy, but I was more blessed
Right.
because my family, my mom, my dad, it's they accept me.
You said that, and when we talked before, I was really surprised when you even said that. That they accepted me, and I was like, "You're lucky." Yeah.
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 I am compared to a lot of people. The reason being is I believe everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for me. Just like Tony Robbins said, everything in life doesn't happen to you, happen for you.
Right.
So meaning, at that time, my mom, we found out she diagnosed breast cancer. So at that time, we were very shocking, and we were very worried. So I had my first relationship, a serious relationship at the time with my ex-boyfriend. So he came along, and I introduced him to the family and blah blah blah. So because of that, my family found out about me.
Yeah, because you were doing a little closet stuff for a minute.
Because I don't know how to bring it up because it's so weird. I mean, in America, in Chinese culture, it's hard to bring it up because we use the term, for example, because Thailand has a lot of lady boys.
Right.
I'm sure you know.
Right.
But in my language, when it translate lady boy, it's called human monster.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Really?
So how can I? Let's say if you're my family, hey, I become a human monster.
Wow.
Because that's just gonna make it worse, right?
Yeah.
Because the terminology way back, they don't know any good.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, so moving forward, so my parents, my mom, because of that, I think she changed life perspective.
Right.
So in a way, so when I came out to my sister first via text, and then my sister told my mom responds, as long as I'm healthy and happy, then it's okay.
Right.
And that's
But she was in that position. She was in that life changing position for herself, that she was more opened up to all that stuff. That's
right, because
she probably wouldn't have been the other way.
Right, because at the end, no matter what you have or how much money or how many materials you have, it's all come down to you to have health to enjoy everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah, especially these days with COVID and everything. But so that's how I am about coming out to my family, and I was lucky I don't have to go through the story that I wrote and the many girls that I heard their story in the community, that they have to go through that trauma.
Right.
Yeah.
So you know what, I want to now that I brought some of that to the forefront, so that you have a little bit of story about her, and what was it, not being a human monster. She's a lovely trans female. We'll just call it exactly what that is, and she's just a good person, and she's a hard worker. I guarantee you that, and I love her transparency. And one of the things that I want to prod you with is that, working within, okay, so we know that the community is starting to actually envelop. It's starting growing.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of festivals, Pride. There's all these other things that going on and stuff like that. It was hard for people to be able to have opportunities like what you're doing now. So my thing is, as you being like the fulcrum to that transition, do you see yourself in the future doing more writing, more producing and stuff like that? I mean, I know you've got your daily job. I got a daily job. I know you got your daily job,
Yeah.
but I mean, are there more opportunities that you'd like to create in the future?
Yes, because the way I have the idea or creativity, it's all kind of linked to my personal life.
Right.
So back then I just started. I heard a lot of, like I said, a lot of different stories, and now I'm kind of went to a second phase or whatever you call next phase. I blend into the real world. It's not in a community. It's not shelter,
Right.
protection, and only go to those bars that we are comfortable with. So I'm kind of go outside of that comfort zone. We
Right.
call it. And of course, in the beginning, it's very uncomfortable, especially finding, you say, daytime job. And
Right.
when I first started looking for a job as a trans person, that was 2016, 17-ish. It's tough because a lot of people still not very informed. So I remember I went to my first interview as a trans person. It's an Asian company. So, they set like kind of like a table like this, and they have like 3 or 4 people interviewing me at once. And they just, ask regular questions. What's your experience? What's your background? Blah, blah, blah. And then because I'm not experienced with interview as a trans person, I told them about myself. I said, oh, I'm a trans person. And then, I'm blah, blah, blah. And so they all start getting all gear. I don't know how do you call
anxious.
it? Yeah, like uh-oh, like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So and then they send the company's spot, owner or CEO to interview me with it's just an admin, small position.
Right.
Anyway, so the boss and the CEO came in. They start asking me very, very
Intimate
personal
question. Yeah.
questions. Like, first of all, what bathroom am I gonna use?
Yeah.
And then, how long have you been this way?
Right.
And is your family okay? See, it's not. It become like it's not a job.
They cross the
interview.
line.
Yeah,
Cross
yeah.
the line. Right.
And then I'm not sure if there's a labor law at that time yet or not for us.
Right.
But now we do. We have an equal job labor law to protect us.
Right.
Certain things they cannot ask or cross the lines.
Right.
Yeah. So from that experience, I learned and I started getting from uncomfortable slowly to be used to it. So down the road, I able to find a job that they don't ask me that question, and I don't have to say I am who I am unless they ask.
Right.
Don't ask, don't tell.
Don't ask, don't tell.
So,
You go, that worked for you, right? It's like, don't ask, don't tell. Just leave me alone and just hire me based on the quality of work that I'm able to do. And
yeah, so I'm at this work for 3 years now, and nobody ever questioned me. Maybe they knew. I'm sure my lady boss, but she never questioned me. She never,
just
make
let it
any
go.
difference.
Right.
Yeah. And then I also got involved with real estate. Okay, so I'm a realtor in Southern California right now. So same thing. My broker, they're all fine because it's based in Long Beach. I'm not sure if that's make any difference, but
probably makes a lot of difference opposed to being somewhere in Montana. So I mean, I'm
True.
not sure.
Yes,
I'm not saying anything bad about Montana. I'm just saying that that it's I don't know. What is it? I by population is no, I forgot, because I used to think at one time San Francisco was the spot that was
Yes.
okay to be out,
Right.
but then I think Long Beach is like one, but there's
Yes.
another place that's
West
huge.
Hollywood.
West Hollywood.
West Hollywood.
West Hollywood. I agree. West Hollywood
West
for
Hollywood.
sure. Yeah. So where you're free to be you. An interesting little side story. It's kind of funny. A lot of people always like say, would you really put yourself on blast about anything that you've ever done in your entire life? And I'm really a transparent person. I just tell my stories, and it is what it is for me, and I don't care. So you can research it or whatever. But a long time ago, I was with a workshop group, which is actually supposed to help you heighten your awareness to a personal workshop, and it was very interesting because one of the things that wound up happening was there was a thing of where they actually said you have to dress trans, and I was like, what was that? So, but was interesting because I figured that I'd go borrow clothes or something like that, and they go, no, you got to go buy your clothes.
Oh,
so I was what? So was very interesting for me because people could figure out whatever reasons that they thought it was supposed to go down, but it opened up a huge thing for me because it's like, I'm like, this would be difficult even for someone who's trans, who's never done it before, like to go out and buy. I'm a big guy. You see how big my feet are? I was skinny then. I was gorgeous. Don't get it wrong. I was hot dressed up. But
can we see a picture?
You know what? I really wish I could find a picture. I'm sure someone's got one somewhere in the world. But I was hot. I was gorgeous. I don't care what you tell. I had to go buy shoes. I remember the lady. She's like, "Oh, honey, honey, I know a place where you could go," and then she gave me all this information, and she goes, "And you could go there anytime you want." I go, "No, you don't understand." She was, but I understood. I went and got the shoes. I went and got everything. I was hot, I'm telling you, and I had me a witch. but I wound up from me actually doing theater and all this other stuff like that. I wound up doing makeup. And I remember my mom was ill with cancer at the time. And I was trying to get all dressed up and go out. So I can imagine how that would be in a trans lifestyle of trying to get past your parents and stuff like that in your privacy. And I remember my mom woke up and she saw me. Oh. Yeah. And so I just remember I was like, "You don't understand." And she was scared. So was your mom scared about you dressing trans and going in public and stuff like that?
Well, she just very concerned about, my safety overall. She wasn't.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And when I transitioned to a girl, yes, she did have those, I won't say worry, just how do you call it? Care.
Right. Concern.
Yeah, concern. The type of concern she will have it on my sister, will have it on me now. So,
okay.
Yeah. Like, make sure you don't dress too short.
Right.
Like that.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering, that just gave me a whole, from what I thought I would have my mindset, it just opened up a lot of things. I mean, when you started going to buy stuff, how hard was that?
Well, I don't know about in the early days, but for me, when I come along, online shopping was already a thing.
So you tried it on at home.
So I order in the beginning stage, I order a lot from online.
Right.
Well, pretty much from online. Okay. And of course, there's time that doesn't fit. Right. So we have, I say we because many people do the same thing. So they have to go return it, in Boimo to the store. Yeah. And when I've evolved from online shopping, ordering stuff online, I went to the store. In the beginning, when I was still not fully full-time yet, so I went as a guy to go shop girl clothes. I would take some men's clothes to mix it with the girls' clothes, right. to bring it to the checkout line. Right. And but of course I don't need those guy clothes. It just make people think I'm buying it for my girlfriend or something.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, I think that I think that experience just made me able to relate a little bit more to like, okay, so this just in general, you've got to be committed to be, this is who you are. So obviously you're doing what you're doing. And, I commend you for doing it because it's hard to be who you are with a mask on all the time of pretending that you're not that person.
That's right.
You
So
know?
that's why, as a guy before, I mentioned earlier, I wasn't feel happy. I wasn't confident, and I don't feel accomplished somehow.
Right.
And I'm a very introvert, shy person before. Totally opposite. I don't know why. It's just a magic.
Right. Like
and then
magic.
when I talk to some other girls in our community, many have the same experience. Oh, I was a nerd. I was a geek.
Oh, really?
I would have glasses.
Right.
No fashion whatsoever. So, and then somehow I don't know why when I'm, like I say, aligned to this,
right.
I just not shy. No one see I'm doing film. I'm doing modeling.
Right.
So this is nice. Shy person would do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Or even now, right?
Right.
So, yeah, and I get to meet a lot of people that I will never thought I would meet, including you. Because as a guy, I was in those little circle of Asian Chinese friends, and that's why my English was bad at time because I don't get to speak it.
Right, you stay within that small
little
community.
Spot community, and I will never thought I will have a boyfriend that's white or have many friends or with different colors and
right.
Yeah, so that's very interesting.
It just broke a mold that you probably would
somehow
have been in.
So the path of life just somehow just take me down to that path. Yeah,
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. I know that just in everything. Sometimes you walk into you realize that there's something that you want and you start walking towards it, and then you wind up start seeing different blockades, and maybe it's the color of your skin, or maybe it's because your ethnicity, or maybe it's because your sexual preference, or how you identify. A lot of these things are barriers that a lot of people start to do, and I'm going to just straight up say it's hard not to say, it's impossible to say people don't judge other people, because that's what we have been doing all our entire lives. We're taught immediately to assess someone from just on a glance and create this backstory from information that you've gathered from, say, your mother or your uncle or your boss or your best friend, and you guys compile all these ideologies together and you impose them onto somebody else. And so a lot of time that hinders them from actually growing and becoming a better person, an artist. And sometimes you don't realize it, but you make them stronger.
Yes. So it just have to go over the hump.
Yes,
Life has different obstacles. I experience that myself, even though I'm all sharing my, smooth, positive experience. But when I broke up with my ex, I had a very bad recovery. I was very depressed. I was very broken for 2-3 years. And like you said, even in my own group of friends, they judge me. Yeah. They weren't there for me. Yeah. I'm sorry to say that, but it's the fact.
Yeah.
And the gossip, the drama, just make me feel worse.
Right.
To be honest. And as you know, we have a mutual friend.
Right.
Yeah.
Just so that I'm not gonna get so involved into it. But we both agreed that we needed to at least say her name out loud. Right. Ashley Pert. She was a model that we worked with together. Right. She was a very, 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 very dear, close friend to me, and I loved her very much. And stuff happens, people get caught up in their own stuff.
Yeah.
and you were
I
spinning in
was
some of
in
your
that
thing.
shoes too, and I did have a thought like her to
Right.
hurt myself. Okay.
Yeah.
I was again lucky or grateful, blessed. I was able to experience something that I never thought will help me to get out of that hole.
Right.
And very unfortunately, I actually couldn't. And now thinking about it today, I wish I was there for her.
Yeah.
For many occasions. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And unfortunately, stuff like that happens, and sometimes you're able to be there and you're able to catch people when they're falling, and you wish sometimes you're not, and you wish you could be. And, sometimes stuff happens, but the reality is that when there's no one there to be your support, like your friends that are there for you, or your family that is not able to give you that support that you need. Yeah. Sometimes you need to step outside the box. Sometimes you need to get counseling, a doctor, somebody to talk to. Right. And one of the things that we agreed to also was that for people who are watching this program that are going through whatever you're going through, that I'd very much like for you, if you're in that situation, if you can't return out to the people that you know and love and that you feel that should be there for you, that you actually take the time to try to save yourself, and probably calling like the National Suicide Lifeline. And I've got the number we're going to put up on the screen for you guys later on. If you wind up having problems like this, keep it on speed dial on your phone, program it in your phone if need be, and the number is 1-800-273-8255. And you could also go on to suicidepreventionlifeline.org. And, your life is very precious, not just to you, but to everyone else around you, because the ripples of the effects of suicide and the loss of life of somebody that you really, truly love and care about, it's just devastating and never leaves.
Yeah. And don't feel embarrassed about telling,
Do not feel embarrassed.
Because life happens, and no matter who you are, what color, what, like you said, gender identity, sexuality, we all been through the same thing. And I know social media make it worse in some sort of perspective. Maybe you might see, oh, I'm happy and all that, but not everybody deep down feel the same thing. I feel that's how we miss that part from Ashley.
Absolutely,
because she's a beautiful girl.
Very beautiful girl.
So that's her presence on social. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's kind of like I said, the people that you touch, it's like there's ripples. And, we met a long time ago doing this shoot, but it's like the connection that we have has never left. It's like we've always touched base from time to time.
Yeah.
And I don't see that ever changing. And obviously, like if there ever gets a point to where you need something, you can call me, you can talk to me, or whatever.
You too.
I will. I will. I mean, life is challenging. So even in trying to attain your goals, you got a lot of things that come into the way, and just don't do anything rash. Just stay with us as long as you can. Life is precious.
Yes.
So is there anybody who's influencing you right now, as an actor or actress, and are you able to get into any opportunities right now, or are you just really focused on working and being a working actress and stuff like that?
Mm, I well, if it's my mom is a big influence to me
Okay.
entire life,
Right.
not every aspect of life because she's very strong. She's still fighting for her cancer right now.
Bless her
So
heart.
yes,
Bless her
so
heart.
that's just that's the spirit that I got from her. Everything I do, I don't just give up, and I'm creating recently. I'm just creating my career with real estate business, and I'm going back to the film. Yes,
Right.
yes, I have this idea to do a documentary to show trans people that's in the workforce, like everyone else. We're no different. When we work, we're very professional. We're not acting like the show entertainment on the TV.
Right.
Like hi bitch. We don't do we don't do that. We're just like you, everyday people. And I think the media today, or the film or TV industry, they don't show that side of us because they show the glamours, like
Right.
the famous people, models,
Right.
like or they people might think, oh, they're just this people on the stage. So when they're not on TV, then they're probably a guy or something.
Right.
What I mean?
Right. Right. That it
So
ends. That it ends.
yeah,
Right.
but it's not.
Right.
We are living it like what in the reality we're living, we're doing it. We try to do our job in a society as well.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Hmm.
I love that. And what do you want? What do you want to see, like, in the next couple decade, with next decade with LGBTQIA?
Well, you did mention earlier about we back then, from maybe in the 70s, 80s, people for LGBT only able to hang out in San Francisco, right?
Right.
And then we now have WeHo, we have Long Beach, and part of San Diego too. So in the next decade, I hope being to see we can be everywhere. We can be just walking anywhere, any country, worldwide, or even any planet. You never know. So, to not to have be afraid to be who we are.
Right.
Not to be afraid of not showing the authentic side of us, and also on the other side, I hope people are not so judgmental anymore.
So your advice, I'd love to get your advice for a young trans
Mhm.
person that is just probably just maybe confused, probably up against the wall with gender identity issues within inside their home or within their community. Let's talk about bashing. Let's talk
Mhm.
about that. Is there any advice that you can give to someone coming up in that right now?
Right. Young people, I think today's young people has more information because we are in the information ages. They can learn from a lot from YouTube and internet. But I want to share this is remember, we should learn from our past, meaning whatever it gets you struggle, that might not be the reason you to stop. It might be just a lesson for you to move forward. Okay.
Right.
And a lot of people, like we talk about suiciding, and also because we are living in the past, we're not living in the present. Because if we like my depression, I lost my person I love, and I'm just keep worrying. I'm thinking in the past.
In the past.
Yeah, I'm not
right.
living in the present. So if you can learn from the past, living in the present, you can transform your future. So
Awesome.
so it's all about mindset. It's about if you put your mind into doing whatever, arts, film,
Right.
photography, or even yourself. If you put your mind into it, it's anything is possible. And yes, there'll be struggle, there'll be obstacles, but that's just life happen for you for helping you to get to your next phase of life.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome.
Right.
Now, I don't know if has anyone. I think I asked, and I'm going to let you answer this.
Okay.
Has anyone tried to do harm to you as a trans person?
Yes, kind of, sort of. But I should also blame myself because I put myself in that situation because I was depressing and I did something stupid, so I came across I hang out with the wrong people. Okay.
Okay. Well,
And I did something that's gonna harm my life, harm my future, and make people who love me sad. So when I try to get out of that, the person who I hung out with, he doesn't want me to, leave.
right.
So I had some sort of trouble at that time. Yeah. So I don't know if this can answer your questions.
You know what? I always tell people this. I am not a therapist. I am not a therapist. So I will talk to you, and when we wind up getting to a wall, I'm not going to try to make you break through that wall. If that's where it's at, that's where the buck lies. I'm not Barbara Walters. I'm not Walter Cronkite. This is not a breaking story. But this is always an opportunity for you to share your most honest, transparent truth.
Right. I never really shared this part on the media. And so I was using substance for a little bit for a certain time. Yeah. And I wasn't addicted to it or anything. I was just I would just feel lonely. I just feel depression.
Right.
And so so I hung out, like I said, I hung out with the wrong person, and they tried to harm me, my future, and want me to suffer. So yeah,
people are vindictive, and they will. You can never. I mean, sometimes they always go, "Oh, there's somebody you can trust this person," and then you get to a certain point, and you're just like, "Wow, I didn't see that. They blindsided me, and they just took advantage of me, and they literally just ripped me apart." So I'm glad that you got away with that, and not in harm's way. But people are always. You got to be careful about who your clique is and stuff like that. Like they always say, smiling faces, the people that are smiling in your face, smile on your face and patting on your back. You got to sometimes be a little aware that those people have something else in mind, but it's kind of hard to keep trying to be authentic, keep being the beautiful person that you are, and just being real. And let me see, is there any platforms that you want to turn around and give a shout out to besides the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline? Is there anything else within the community that you work in, or that you live in or are part of? Is there any organization, anything?
Oh, I'm right now part of Long Beach LGBTQ Chambers of Commerce and its business. I volunteer there, and I'm a committee for trans people. And because a lot of trans people aren't in business, and I believe we can't fix that because it's just we need to have more opportunities. Job wise, or like maybe own a small business. Yeah.
Right.
So I want to give a shout out to that organization because
whoop, whoop. Give them a whoop whoop. Shelbe Chang in the house representing, giving you guys a little bit of love. I love that. No worries. And so again, why don't you do me a favor and give me some of your data, some of your websites, your Instagram, and all these things like that, so that everybody can stay in touch with you and reach out to you. You're gonna have friends.
Yeah. My handle for Instagram is I am Shelbe, IMSHELBE, and that's on Instagram. And if you're in Southern California, I also have a real estate page, is Long Beach Real Estate on Instagram, IG. Yeah. So if you're looking to buy homes, sell homes, please reach out to me. I will definitely help you. Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you.
And I'm sure that if there's any other parts for movies that come up, and I'm going to tell you what, you need to check out LGBT Love Story, because I wound up seeing segments of it with her in it. And I'm telling you, I got chills. I loved it. She was amazing. And this isn't me just blowing smoke up your bum. I'm for real. And she brought it strong. So I commend you for pursuing your acting career. Also, as a model. Now, I was shooting everything at the time. Shelbe threw it down. Shelbe, she was unmerciful throwing it down, and she gave me like a lot of gusto, because she's not just a model, she's a muse. So I really appreciate her giving, like people say, leave a pound of sweat and blood on the floor. She gave me that as well. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to be a part of Frock Magazine and shooting and having your image in that. And and thank you for doing part of that little gender bender thing with oh my God, you guys. One of the images that I have that I love was that had Ashley Pert in there with Shelbe.
Yes.
The whole gender bender thing. I love when people wind up looking at the picture and it's Shelbe in like this, like was it panties and something else like that, whatever, and bikini. That's what it was. One of them. Something I could have been a bikini. But either way, but we also had Ashley Pert, and she was
she's amazing.
She's amazing. She had a mustache. She had a goatee.
Yeah. You know what? I did ask her to see if she want to participate in my film at that.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, but
she was in that.
All right.
oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
She couldn't drive.
Yes,
Right. Yeah. But God, she's definitely loved and missed, and
we miss her. And she always wanted us to work together again. So here we are today.
Here we are,
Yes.
and she's in here in this room. I'm sure she's here. It's rolling about, and I again love her, love you, and
love you too.
Thank you so much, darling. And at this moment, I want you to turn around and look into that camera. Say peace out. Tell everybody love. All right.
Alrighty. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming, and thank you for being so transparent and informative about your career and about your dreams and passions and your struggles as well. Thank you. All right.
Thank you, John.
All right. Thank you. Everybody, thank you very much for joining the Muse Evolution Podcast Show for this episode with Shelbe Chang. And like I said, if you guys are going through on your own personal level any struggles in your life, feeling of depression, and you need an outside source, please turn around and reach out to the National Suicide Prevention Hotline. Oh, sorry, not hotline, Lifeline. And again, that number is 1-800-273-8255. We don't want to mess up on the suicide hotline number. Okay, so I'm going to give that to you one more time. So it's 1-800-273-8255. We do not need a wrong number on there. And it's suicidepreventionlifeline.org. All right. So thank you again for joining the Muse Evolution Podcast Show. I'm John Rushing. Check out the music at the end and check out what Shelbe's got going on. Peace out.
Just want to talk.
What do you want to talk about?
You.
I lost everything. My family. My friends. And my job.
Have you been doing? Have you been with another man? I want you to get out of the house. Get out.
I'm married with a child. My wife doesn't understand me.
You and Thomas were great together, on stage and off.
I broke up with you, you broke up with me. Who the hell cares? What's the difference?
The problem with the two of you is your egos.
You became a drag queen from hell. My new boyfriend Ernesto's coming to pick me up.
Why is Tomas just like a gay thug? I gotta say it, the dude looks shady. I bet he's wearing one of those parole GPS ankle bracelets.
You got an invitation for Thomas's birthday party?
Oh, wow. You didn't?
Birthday boy, happy birthday, Tomas. This is my girlfriend, Amber. Not really girlfriend.
You're so. That's just a bad idea.
It's like a bad idea, but
Is she straight?
Yeah. I mean, she has a boyfriend, but
She has a boyfriend?
But he's a jerk.
It's in the lesbian handbook. Trust me, I've been there.
And don't tell me we have to share the same bathroom with her.
You mean with him?
Do you know this could damage our company's image and reputation?
They're just putos in dresses, right?
No. No, it's not that. It's burlesque, it's dance, it's singing, it's making people laugh. It's art.
Who are you fighting, Jack?
Society, prejudice.
look, I live my life trying to be true to who I am. I am not afraid to kiss someone who I love in public.
This is gonna go viral. Monetize it, bitches.
Thank you for joining the Muse Evolution Podcast Show. For those of you joining us via audio podcast platforms, there is an alternative. The Muse Evolution Podcast Show can also be viewed on www.themuseevolutionpodcastshow.com. The Muse Evolution Podcast Show is absolutely free to listen to, but it is an independent, for-profit business that is created by Muse Evolution Photography, the creator of fine artworks created from around the world in high-resolution photographed by artist John Lewis Rushing Jr. We hope that you visit Muse Evolution Photography at www.museevolutionphotography.com and view some of our products. There you can support the program by purchasing yourself something that is useful like a t-shirt, PPE apparel, a calendar, to something more decadent for yourself as a gift or for purchasing for a friend, such as a book, affordable posters, to creating your own collection of limited museum quality fine art pieces and starting your journey to becoming a connoisseur or purveyor of modern fine art.